All aboard the Panda Virtual Academy Express train. Here we go with Pete the Cat's train trip. We have Pete, we're at the train station, and we are looking for words that start with the letter N. Our letter of the day, our star of the day. But guess what? There is only one word that starts with the letter N in this entire story. So we're going to keep our eyes open. We're going to look for it. It is the word next. Next. So when you hear the word next, I want you to raise that panda paw. All right, I know that so many of you also love exclamation points because that means we say something with excitement. So every time we see an exclamation point, we're gonna go like this, like making the sound of a horn, like a train horn, all right? Here we go. We have Pete the Cat's train trip. Shout it out, parts of the book, it's the, yes, spine, the front cover, the back cover, and this back cover tells us a little bit about the story. It says, all aboard, Pete the Cat can't wait to visit Grandma, especially because he gets to take a groovy train ride to see her. There he is, all righty. And then inside we have title page, fantastic. What about the author, James Dean? The author writes the words and the illustrator draws the pictures. We've been talking about setting. So where does this story take place, do you think? Yes, you can see the outside and probably what? At the train station and maybe inside the train, right? We learned about on the back of the book that he gets a train ride to see Grandma. So maybe he'll go to Grandma's house. I'm not sure. But also we can talk about characters. So you see some of the characters, Pete the Cat, right? And maybe the train conductor, all right, in the story. And then he talks about Grandma. So we know that Grandma will most likely be a character in the story. The people or the animals in the story are the characters. Okay, now let's get started. Pete the Cat's train trip. Here we go. Remember those exclamation points. Gonna honk the horn. Here we go. Pete the Cat is going to visit Grandma. He gets to ride on a train. There's the exclamation point. Train. Pete's mom buys 3 tickets. She gives one to Pete. So we know these are going to be characters in this story, right? Pete's mom. And she gives one to his brother, Bob. So we have Pete, Pete's mom, and Bob. We've met 3 characters already. Trains today, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Pete looks up at the big board. Our train is leaving at 10 o'clock, he says. A train speeds by. That's a cargo train, Bob tells Pete. Pete's train has arrived. All aboard! There it is, calls the conductor. Pete's mom finds 3 seats. I can't wait to see Grandma, says Bob. I can't wait to explore the train, says Pete. The conductor comes to collect the tickets. Pete hands over his. I love trains, says Pete. I'll show you around, says the conductor. So there's the conductor. So you've met more characters. And you could see Pete is like the main character, right? He's who the story is usually about. And he is almost on every page. That's like the main character. And then these are some of the supporting characters. Pete follows the conductor from car to car as the floor rumbles under his feet. Wow, Pete says when they get to the caboose. The caboose is the very back of the train. We're going over a bridge. There's the bridge. So this is all part of the setting where the story is taking place. Pete sees his mom and Bob. They're at the snack bar. Oh, I love snack bars. I got this for you, says Bob. What did he get him? An apple, right? One of our favorites, an apple. Pete follows the conductor. He goes to the front of the train. Come in, says the engineer. Wow, Pete says. The engineer shows him the engine. The engineer shows Pete the train's brakes. There is a tunnel up ahead. Good job when you're finding those exclamation points. As they go through the tunnel, Pete begins to honk the horn. Ready? Toot, toot. Try it with me, pandas. Toot, toot. Everything is light again. Thanks for showing me around, Pete says. On his way back to his seat, Pete stops and makes new friends. New friends means new characters. They live in different towns. They're getting off at different stops. So these are new friends, new characters in the story. But some of the characters, like, we didn't even learn their names, right? So some of the characters just play a little role in the story. Pete plays games. A little kid wears his hat. Pete sings a song. What a groovy ride. We're getting off at the, there it is, next stop. There's next, N-E-X-T. Look up here, N-E-X-T, letter N, next. We're getting off at the next stop, says Pete's mom. Toot, toot. Pete looks out the window and sees Grandma. Silent cheer for Grandma. Pete is the first one off the train. Pete's grandma gives him a big hug. It feels so good. Pete loves riding the train, but he loves his grandma even more. Aw, I love that story. Pete the Cat's train trip. Thank you, Panda Bears, for going on the letter N search and finding just one word in the whole story that starts with the letter N, next. Remember, sometimes you will find the letter that you're looking for like 20 times or, 8 times, and sometimes you won't find it at all. There'll be none. There'll be 0, right? Remember last week we were reading a story and there were 0 letters that we were looking for. And this time there was 1. So you never know. It's always a fun adventure when you go on that letter hunt, right? That word hunt. And thank you again for participating with the exclamation points. That was super fun and engaging. So once again, pandas, hope you have a fantastic weekend, and thank you again for joining us for Pete the Cat's train trip. Make it a great day. Bye.